Hi, I'm Josh, and this is Cars and Joshy.
Hey, welcome back to Cars and Joshy. I'm out here about to do the ring gap on my LQ9, or what I'm thinking is a LQ9, but I wanted to show you guys something and get your guys' thought on it. Maybe leave a comment or something if you're pretty familiar with these LS motors. But here we go, take a look at this. Those are definitely the Gen 4 style rods. So it's got Gen 4 rods in it, but it's got Gen 3 front cover. There's no sensor or anything in the front, but it's got flat top pistons. So that's what made me think it was a LQ9. And there was no DOD or variable valve timing, none of that stuff on this. So maybe I got a LQ4 that somebody had already swapped the pistons and rods out in, or maybe I got a late LQ9 that's got Gen 4 rods but Gen 3 everything else. So I don't know, let me know what you guys think. Pretty good to me. I know what those markings are. I don't. Alright, I'm gonna set it aside. Gap the rings, throw it back in. We'll go down this bank, then I'll turn it over and go down the other bank. Top ring has that dot, and it's beveled on this side right here. Bottom ring also has a dot. Dot goes up, but it doesn't have that bevel. Let's start with the bottom ring, see what that looks like. I don't know how many miles this engine had on it when I got it, so I can't tell you if it was super high mileage or not, but it was pretty dirty, so I think it had some miles on it. I've got a 25 thousandths and a 3 thousandths together to make 28 thousandths. That's what I'm gonna gap it at. It's a 19. That goes in there no problem. That's a 24. 25 does go in there. Actually, 28 goes in there. So I'm gonna leave the bottom ring. That's 28. Right there, I'm not gonna go any bigger than what it's already got. So, bottom ring good. .21 drags. I can stuff it in there, but it drags. So actually it goes right in. 22 is going in. I don't have a 28 straight 28. I have 0.025 and then a 0.003, and that doesn't want to go in. So I can file this one down just a little bit. We'll file it down on the side that's got the dot. I'm going to do it by hand. I don't know how much it's going to take, so I'm going to be very careful not to go too far with it. Not quite, but I can feel that that actually did do something. Let's see if 25 goes. 25 does not want to go. $25 is good now. 28 is in there, but I can feel it dragging, so I think we're good. So there's one down, and I'm gonna do the same thing for all of them, but I don't think I'm gonna record every last one of them because I only got one camera, and it's kind of a pain to move from here to over there on the bench and back to over here. So I'm gonna go ahead and knock these out, and I'll be back with you. I got the rings back on the piston, and I cleaned up the top of the piston so I can tell which ones I've done as I'm going along, in case I sleep and forget. So I got this assembly lube, this driven assembly lube I'll be using on these bearings when I'm going back together with it. And then I'm leaving the stock rod bolts for right now. I'm gonna torque everything back down because there's a certain pattern that these ARP rod bolts are supposed to take. So once I get everything, all the rings gapped, all the pistons back in, and all the rods torqued back down, I'm going to replace the rod bolts one at a time with the ARP bolts. So yeah, just gonna go ahead and put some assembly lube on this. There we go, and back into the engine it goes. Goes one down, 7 to go. I came across this bearing while pulling these pistons out and gapping the rings, and it's got this nice little divot in the bearing. I'm just going to slap it back in there and let it eat. We'll see. I think what I'm going to do in the meantime, so I can continue this, is I'm just going to set it back in there and move on to the rest of them. I've already gapped the rings, so I'll just go ahead and slap it back in so I can finish the rest of the pistons. I'll let you know what ends up happening with that bearing though. Alright, all the rings are gapped. I got all the pistons back in, got them cleaned up a little bit. So all I need to do now is flip this thing over and start replacing the factory rod bolts with the ARP bolts. And then I still have, it was the last 1, 3, 5, 7, number 7 piston that had that little hole in the bearing, the rod bearing. So if I need to replace any bearings or anything, I'm probably going to do this one last. Just leave that one, not replace the rod bolts yet, and see how that works out. But I'm going to do the rod bolts on the next video. Thanks for watching Cars and Joshy. If you like what you've been seeing, please subscribe. Josh out.